What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Knicks Recap Podcast. I'm your host, Troy, and you could have been anywhere in the world this afternoon, but you chose to be here with me, and I really do appreciate that. Shout out to Knicks Nation, chat gang, I see you. Nelly, I see you. All Sports, I see you. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Guys, I gotta say, we are a few weeks away from actual basketball. Now, I know it's only preseason, but I'm already hyped to see this roster in any form or fashion get started. That's exactly what I want to see. We are going to push teams to the limit, push teams to a level that they've never seen before. This is the best Knicks squad we have ever seen and we have ever had entering a season, maybe in 20 to 25 plus years? I am so excited. And like always, like with every live stream, we have so much Knicks content to cover. We're going to be talking about the Knicks and, of course, Clint Capela. Their interest there, but really, what's the real reason that they're interested in trying to trade for Clint Capela at this point in time? We're also going to take a look at Tom Thibodeau and potentially a new defensive scheme that he has built up with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges in mind. We're going to take some looks at some videos of OG Anunoby. Not OG Anunoby. We're going to take some look at some video of Precious Achiuwa, him working on his mid-range game. We're going to take a look at the captain. He's been working on his game as well, too. And he's been elevating his game to a level that I didn't even think he had possible. That's right. Jalen Brunson potentially has another level beyond what we've already seen. We're going to take a look at his pro run workout that he did with Kyrie Irving. All of these things and a lot more to get to for today's show, but we got to get started with what the thumbnail is about, what you guys tuned in for, Clint Capela. Ian Bagley, a great NBA insider for SNY, he reported a couple of days ago that the Knicks are interested in Clint Capela. Obviously, they were interested in him during the offseason. They wanted to add him, but nothing materialized from that deal. But now, come the trade deadline, according to Bagley, Capela could be somebody to watch. Now, you might be thinking, why would the Knicks go after Capela? After all, isn't he a free agent after this season? His contract expires? You would be right. But that could be the real reason why the Knicks want to sign him to this team. According to Sports Illustrated, they potentially indicate that the Knicks could sign Clint Capela to the team, potentially to reset at the center position after the end of the season, and also to utilize that money on other players that they need to re-sign. We're going to break down all of those reports today and so much more. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Why the Knicks are targeting Clint Capela for a trade. Now, Ian Bagley a couple of days ago gave the Knicks a number of different targets potentially that the Knicks are linked to at the trade deadline. Now he talked about Walker Kessler. That's been a name that we spoke about on this channel at length now. I released a video a couple of days ago speaking about DeAndre Ayton, speaking about John Collins, speaking about Robert Williams III and Jonas Valanciunas. So suffice to say, the Knicks have been linked to basically nearly every single center that's going to likely be available come the deadline. But one center that doesn't get talked about a lot is Clint Capela. Normally, the reason is because the Hawks tried to move him a couple of times, but could never get anything for him because the asking price was just too high. His contract, too high. Like I said to start the show, he's entering free agency. So what team would want to give up significant assets to get him on the team? But if Clint Capela's value drops a little bit and the Hawks want to come down on price, the Knicks might be persuaded to make a trade to get Capela on this team. Now, let's break down some of these recent reports before I give you my reaction on the real reason why the Knicks are going after Clint Capela and wanting to add him to this team. Let's go to the Bagley report because that's really what started this all off. According to Ian Bagley, he states the following. As far as backup centers and the trade deadline, I know the Knicks talked to Atlanta this offseason about a deal involving Clint Capela. Capela is 30. He's entering the final season of his 2-year deal with the Hawks. He's projected to make a little over $22 million. $22 million. So when I talk about the cap hit and I talk about that contract, just remember, that's what they have to absorb when they make this trade. But let's continue here. It's a large cap hit, but for a player who averages 11.5 points and 10.6 rebounds, he could be worth it for the Knicks. Another reason the Knicks might go this direction, and this doesn't get talked about enough, Capela, his health and his availability is top notch. Look at his levels of health and availability throughout the course of his career. Look at the past couple of seasons. He is actually healthy and available. So that's another reason why the Knicks might go this direction. Now, that's not the only reason why. The points and rebounds do help a lot. Walking double-double does help a lot. But according to Sports Illustrated, there might be another reason. And this reason could be something that the Knicks are absolutely going to consider here. According to Sports Illustrated, the Knicks would need to send somebody to the Hawks who matches salaries with Capela. And Mitchell Robinson is the likeliest player to be dealt in that potential trade. So let's just make peace with that as well right now. You may not like it, you may not agree with it, but if the Knicks go that direction at the trade deadline, Mitchell Robinson is gone. And that's something we all have to understand. We may want to keep him, but if they go that direction, understand who's likely going to be involved. Let's continue here. This deal wouldn't solve the Knicks' depth issues at that position, but it would bring someone who could be better than Robinson. Better because he'd be available more. I want to make sure that's clear. Capela is a free agent at the end of the year, while Robinson is set to make about $12 million. So it would clear up some room for the team to give Julius Randle more money or give the Knicks freedom to go in a different direction entirely regarding the center position. So there you have it. Why the Knicks are targeting Clint Capela? One of the main reasons, what the real reason is because if they target him, they can waive him at the end of the season because he's a free agent, so he can walk. They get that money back. They can either give it to Randle so they can sign him to a longer deal to stay with this team, or they can reset at the center position and go out there and see who else they can add to this team. Maybe it's a Walker Kessler. Maybe it's a Jalen Duran. Maybe it's somebody else. But this is why the Knicks are potentially looking at targets like Clint Capela. And I would say anybody on the trade market at the deadline who is available that is maybe on a 1-year deal or only has 1 year remaining on their contract, that's somebody to look at. If they're a center, you have to double down on them as well, too. So we talked about John Collins a couple of days ago. John Collins and his contract, 1 year left. Not as much per year as Capela, but still a lot. I don't know exactly what he would cost you, but likely Mitchell Robinson goes out in that deal. If Robinson goes out and you get somebody like Collins, again, a lot of people may not understand that move, but that move potentially could set the Knicks up for future moves after the season ends. And that's something to consider. Not to mention, Collins would be an upgrade on offense than Mitchell Robinson would be if he was traded to this team. Now, I'm not advocating for Collins. Don't get me wrong. I forgot he was on the team. I had to look it up. I was always talking about Kessler this, Kessler that. Forgot that my guy John Collins was there. And again, it's because of the trade that happened with the Hawks and everything that happened with that whole thing, them trying to avoid the second apron. But Collins is there, potentially is available. And if the cost is low enough and the Knicks don't hit on any other of their targets for trade, I can see them going after Collins. I can see them going after a number of free agents. But Clint Capela might make the most sense because if you're looking for a Robinson replacement and somebody who can remain healthy, Capela gives you that. He's going to rebound. He's going to block shots. He may not be the same on defense as Mitchell Robinson is, especially at this stage of his career. But under Tom Thibodeau, he would be lethal. And for the time we needed him for, he would at least be available so we could push it to the limit and see what we could do come the postseason. Because that move at the deadline, don't get it wrong. It might help us during the regular season, but that move is a move for the postseason if they make it. Because they would probably understand at that point how important the center position is for the Knicks, what they try to run, and who they're going to likely face come the playoffs. These are all planning moves from Leon Rose and this Knicks front office. They never do a move, and that's the only thing they have in mind. Anytime they make a move, They always have future moves in place, something that they can look to in case it doesn't work out. And that's what any smart GM would do. The reason we're a little bit shocked by it in terms of New York fans is because we haven't had a competent front office in my lifetime, besides when Leon Rose took over now. So it's okay to be shocked by it, but these are what competent front offices do. And Leon Rose is doing this. Clint Capela, John Collins, for maybe even Robert Williams III, Walker Kessler, Jalen Duran. All of these guys are potential targets linked to the Knicks. The only question is, will the Knicks want to trade for any of these guys, and will the cost be low enough for them to do so? Reality is, with Walker Kessler, I don't think so. With Jalen Duran, I don't think so. And for the cost of some of these other guys, Robert Williams III, for instance, the Knicks are not going to break the bank to trade for this guy. They're not going to make a problem, a bigger problem, by getting a backup to Mitchell Robinson, who's just as injury prone. That doesn't make sense. The Knicks are not in the business of creating more problems for themselves. Why would they do that? It benefits no one. So the Knicks are not in the business to do that. They are going to make the right moves and a smart move come the deadline. I believe they're going to make the right move before the season even begins. I know Leon Rose in this front office knows we need size at the center position. I know they know that Mitchell Robinson could miss some time to start the season. If everybody knows this, including the front office, then a move is coming. Who that player is going to be, we're going to have to wait and see. Leon Rose never announces what he's going to do. He just lets it happen, and then we all react to it. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. But right now, Capela is somebody to watch. If for nothing else, it's because we can pay Randall more, or we could reset at center. And ask anybody in the fan base, honestly, if you really wanted to talk about it, if you really had to, wouldn't you want to do a reset with a young upcoming prospect that has a lot of upside at center with this roster? Because I think I would want to do that. And if the Knicks are prioritizing Walker Kessler at the trade deadline, aren't they doing the same thing? Young center, can play under Tom Thibodeau, defensive-minded, can develop into can develop into an even bigger monster under head coach Tom Thibodeau. This is what we're seeing here. This is what we're talking about. That's the type of players that the Knicks are looking for. Now, will they settle for other players? They will. That's why every report has Jonas Valanciunas as one of the top players linked to the Knicks, because the trade package makes sense, his contract makes sense, and if he's added to this team, he can play backup minutes and starter minutes. Everything makes sense for Valanciunas. But in my opinion, that's the trade the Knicks will settle on if they can't hit with any other deal come the deadline. And I think the Knicks know that, and the Wizards potentially know that as well too. Leon Rose is crafty. The OG Anunoby move, we never saw it coming. The Mikal Bridges move, we never saw it coming. Even the campaign move, I never saw that coming. I don't know about you guys. Leon Rose does not announce anything. He's going to let it play out, and he's going to make the right addition when the time is right. So be patient, wait, and have faith in this front office. Look at what we have right now. Championship roster. Who gave that to us? A lot of different people, but in large part, Leon Rose. If he did all of this for us, why wouldn't he help us even more when he knows we have a need for it? Trust in Leon. He's going to get us there. I believe it. Before we get to the chat, because I know you guys are active, you guys are going off right now, and I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody who's watching this live stream right now. I want to talk about one player who really doesn't get enough shine. And the reason he doesn't get enough shine is, myself included, we only talk about him via trades because the Knicks signed him to a one-year deal. We're talking about Precious Achiuwa. 1 year, $6 million contract with the Knicks. No trade clause waived. Likely going to be traded. That's all we've been talking about him, right? That's all anybody's been caring about regarding Precious Achiuwa. But what has he been doing in the offseason? What has he been getting into? Well, if you take a look at this latest video with me, guys, you're going to see exactly what Achiuwa has been doing during the offseason. And spoiler alert, he's been working on his game. He's been working on his mid-range shot. Let's get to that really quickly and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Play that really quick. You guys are going to hear it, so watch it one time. Mid-range game is good, man. Mid-range game is good. Silky. Now, he's obviously not going to be able to do that during game. He's going to have to probably take contact a little bit, but you like him working on these things. I mean, listen, I know it's practice. Practice doesn't say everything about the player, but the commitment here. Look at Achiuwa. He's upset that he missed in practice. He takes this stuff seriously. A lot of NBA players do. They want to make sure they perfect their craft because they know their craft means everything. And it's important. Let's watch it again as I talk about Achiuwa. You're not going to hear the audio this time, though. But as you can see, again, he's working on his game. And I love players that really he understands. He has to build up his value because the Knicks probably told him, listen, we're having you waive your no trade clause because we're going to trade you. Videos like this, everybody sees this around the league. Him working on his game, improving his game, the Knicks going to be able to utilize him next season. This all helps the Knicks. It's going to help them when they're going to make a trade come the deadline because they're going to be able to go back to footage like this. Go back to what he's doing in game and say, look, he's improved his game. He's a better player right now. You can utilize him right now. And if you don't want him, you can waive him at the end of the year. He's only on a 1-year deal anyways. The Knicks were smart with this move, and Achiuwa just as smart, working on his game, making sure everybody sees him working on his game. And the mid-range shot is exactly what he needs. Think about where he's positioned normally in the Knicks offense. Normally in the paint. Why? Because he has to get rebounds. Normally, he's the guy getting rebounds or going up and helping our other players, being that help defender, blocking shots, and then making sure he's running back to the other side of the court. So that's what he's doing on offense for the Knicks. But if he's inside the paint and he has a mid-range shot and Randall finds him or Brunson finds him, or somebody else on that court for the Knicks finds him, and he's able to pull off a shot like this, that's something you can depend on. That's an easy 2 points. This is a player that understands his weaknesses and understands what he needs to develop in. And I don't know about you guys, but I love players doing this in the offseason because nobody tells you to do this. You're not going to get paid to do this. He's not getting paid a dime to release this footage. Why is he doing it? Because he understands doing this is part of the whole goal of the offseason to show you're improving your game. Shout out to Precious Achiuwa. He hears all of this trade talk, all of this noise talking about he's not going to be here for the long term. Who knows what his role is going to be? The Knicks are actively looking for all of these centers. His name is in all of these talks. Doesn't matter to him. Silence. Work on your game. Work on commitment to the game. Do what you can do for your causes. Come into the season healthy and focused and see what type of minutes you can earn. I love that. I love having a player like that on the Knicks. And even though we're likely going to trade him, having him to start the season is better than having nobody at all. Shout out to Achiuwa. But let's go to the chat, gang, see what you guys have to say about Achiuwa potentially, about Clint Capela, about all of these things. Shout out to you guys. Really do appreciate it. Wow, we got a lot of people in here. Oh, goodness gracious. We have James. All right, James. Let's see. Are you being respectful? All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass. You're being respectful and you're keeping it ball. So I'll give you a little bit of a pass. As long as I give you a pass, you can stay here for a little bit. But the second you turn that switch, you know what's happening. A mute is happening, James. So be careful. Shout out to everybody in the room, though, everybody in the chat. I really appreciate you guys, all the subscribers in here. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We have a goal of trying to hit 20K subscribers. You could be part of that. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot, and it's free, so that helps. And also, if you guys want to know where to find me to do the watch-alongs or watch games with me, during the NBA season or during preseason or anything like that, if you want to watch games with me, you have to do it at the playback. Just go to the Knicks Recap Playback channel. You can find the link in the description of this live stream. You go there and you're able to watch live games with me, see my reactions. And some of you guys, if you're members of the channel already, you're going to be given moderation status. That means you're going to be able to come up there with me as a speaker, talk about the game with me in depth. And all of that is live streamed to every single channel that I'm on. Great opportunity. I hope you guys will join along. Again, It's the Knicks Recap Playback channel. It's free to join, and the link is in the description. Really do appreciate that. Let's keep it going here, though, guys. Your comments. David, he says, question, Troy. With the Knicks signing Landry Shamet and Marcus Morris Sr., will the Knicks consider also signing Ryan Arcidiacono to the same contract type so he can fight for the roster? Very, very, very good question, David. And I want to say this thing to you. With the Landry Shamet and Marcus Morris deals, they're not guaranteed. They're Exhibit 9 deals, right? They're essentially training camp deals to make the roster more competitive and have more competition when we're at camp. It pushes you to be better. So I like that. Are the Knicks going to do that for Ryan? Probably not. And the reason for that is when you think of competition and you think of competition level and players really wanting to fight to a spot to earn playing time, you don't think about Ryan. The reason people think about Ryan is because you think about the media day pick, right? You think about Ryan, Mikal, Brunson, all of these guys. You think about that entire Dante. You think about that entire squad Nova pick, right? Beautiful pick. Would love to see it. Maybe he can visit during media day and take the picture anyways. I would love it. But besides that, that's all it really is. I don't want to waste money on signing him. And I wouldn't waste the contract on Ryan when in reality, I would give that contract to a big that we need. We need bigs. Who's going to be the big man when we play during training camp? We're going to have to play people who normally don't play center at center during training camp at this point because we don't have enough players to play that position. Mitchell Robinson's missing training camp. He's likely going to miss all of camp. So I would rather them give any of our training camp contracts that are available right now to bigs because that's what we need. But I appreciate that. Tony says, we don't need Capela. He's too expensive. $22 million. $22 million, Tony. And shout out to you for being a member. Samir, shout out to you, my guy. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says the Knicks have a lot of time to evaluate specific needs before the trade deadline and lots of flexibility and options as we get closer to the trade deadline. I absolutely believe that. And here's the thing. I thought they were going to make a move, Samir, regarding what they were going to do before the season started because we have access to the MLE. I've been talking about that for a while, right? But they're not utilizing it. And I've been trying to rack my head around why they're not utilizing it. But to your point, they have a lot of options at the deadline. One of those options is the buyout market. And if they don't use the MLE now, they can use it then. And we don't know who's going to be bought out then. There are reports that Capela could be bought out. Now, I'm not saying the Knicks are going to have enough money to sign him or whatever the contract's going to be. That's a fact. But we don't know who's going to be available then. The Knicks don't know. And because they don't know, they don't want to utilize something now for players that they obviously don't need. We've been speaking about the players that are available now. JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo. Not really names that jump off the page, right? Not really anything that the Knicks are going to regret not going after. Now, the reason I want the Knicks to go after them is because I can see them utilizing the MLE during the trade deadline because you have another contract you can add. That's not the only way you can get Valanciunas or any one of these guys. You can utilize other players that we have. I just don't know if that's going to be an option. But Samir, very good point. Thank you so much for your super chat. I really do appreciate that. If you guys want to get in on the super chat action as well, too, you'll see a little heart there with a money symbol in it. You'll click that. You'll donate to the show. Any donations are appreciated. And then your comment will be read aloud more than anybody else. Now, I obviously try to get to every comment, whether it's a super chat or not, but the super chats are obviously prioritized because people pay for them. So obviously that makes sense. For members, though, they're also prioritized as well, too. So if you want to get your comments prioritized, whether I'm on a live with a special guest or whatever, you can do that. And the only thing you need to do is join as a member. Joining as a member is very easy. You see the join button for subscribers already. If you're not a subscriber, once you hit the subscribe button, it will turn into a join button. And then you hit that join button, you'll be able to choose a number of different levels to join to this channel. And once you do join as a member, it unlocks a lot of different perks. The main one being you get entered into giveaways that we run each and every month. I haven't forgotten. We are going to run a giveaway for this month. I'm thinking about either a Knicks jacket or a Knicks bobblehead. But I'm pretty sure if I leave the choice up to you guys, everybody's going to choose the jacket because I don't think anybody wants a bobblehead. I mean, I like bobbleheads. I think bobbleheads are cool, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would probably want a jacket. So I'll leave it up to you. I'll probably do another poll like I did with the hats, depending on who wins that. By the way, the giveaway winner for the hat, Apaz Diaz, he hasn't claimed the hat. So if he doesn't claim the hat by the time the end of this next giveaway, I'm going to take that hat and include it in the prize for this giveaway as well, too. So that means two prizes. We're talking about either a bobblehead or a jacket along with the Knicks fitted from the last giveaway because it wasn't claimed. And if it doesn't get claimed by the next giveaway, it's going to be up for grabs for that giveaway. Members, you don't have to do anything. You're already included in that giveaway. Anybody who's not a member, if you want to join, hit that join button right now. You can join any level. Each and every level unlocks a different perk. The final level unlocks live streams personally with me that I'll do it with each and every one of you that's at that tier. If there's not that many of you, then I'll probably work it out individually. But shout out to you guys. Really do appreciate the members of this channel. You guys are the reason that I do a lot of the videos and you keep me going. So thank you so much. Tony, you're one of them, my man. Jose, we need passing. That man can score. Let's see here. We got just reading through the comments here. Sean Hibbert. Nah, David, I don't think that's a viable option. I guess you guys are talking about Ryan Arcidiacono or maybe another option that I missed here. Again, a lot of comments going through here. Jose says, yo, McGee is an awesome shot blocker. Yeah, his knees are also washed. Like, washed. He's not even allowed to come into a laundromat with me because they have enough washers at the laundromat. He's washed. Completely gone. We're good. There's a reason he's unrostered right now. Not to say that he couldn't be the large Theo Pinson if you needed somebody like that, a veteran presence that can cheer for you. But if you're actually wanting him to play, just look at what he did a couple years ago. Look at what he did last year. Again, old, veteran, great former champion, but that only gets you that far. The reason he's not rostered is because nobody thinks that he's a viable option on any type of contending team. Shout out to McGee. I'm just saying how it is, though. Let's keep it going. Nelly Nell says James sounds salty. Okay, I don't see James. I don't see the comment you guys are talking about. Might have to scroll up. We'll have to see. Let's see. Jose says, yeah, the jacket, not the whack New Jersey. LOL. Wow. Okay. Troy, I have a $300 Knicks jacket for a giveaway. Oh, okay, Tony. You know, if we're going to do a jacket and you're down to give your jacket for the giveaway, I am absolutely happy to do that. But only thing is, if you're going to give away your jacket, then one thing is you're going to have to come on air with me and you're going to have to give it away while we're on air together. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I'll do because that's a very expensive jacket, Tony. I'm not going to let you come here, give away your jacket, and not allow another Knicks fan to be able to show or see who you are, or things like that. So if you're going to do that and you want to do that, leave a, not on this video, maybe on, when we're done with the live, leave a comment on the stream once we're done and leave your contact information there regarding either an email or whatever, and I'll contact you. I'll send you a message and we'll get in touch somehow, either DM or whatever the case may be. And we'll work it out. We'll have you part of the show. Hopefully, you can come up here and you can at least give your jacket away. They can see what it looks like and everything else like that. And we can work out coordinates in terms of delivery and things. Because I do want to give away a jacket. It seems like a lot of people want that. But if you have one that people would want, I think that works out well. And again, you're a member. And if you're giving me this suggestion, I don't want to let it go to waste. So I appreciate that. We'll talk about it after the live, though. But I appreciate it. Tony says, let's go. I'll hit you up on Twitter. Yeah, definitely. Hit me up on Twitter. Send me a message. If you can't direct message me, just at me on Twitter. And when I see your message, I'll respond to you. I'll message you. We'll get in touch that way, and we'll make sure we'll work it out because definitely, it's very good. It's a courteous offer, and I appreciate it. I think everybody else does. So thank you. James, I just don't like y'all. F them Knicks. The net's clear. Let's go. Yes, I'm down. I appreciate it, Tony. Thank you so much for being down. You definitely will be part of that show whenever we do it. I don't know exactly when the giveaway will be. I'll have to coordinate that. We'll work it out at some point, either during the weekend or probably next week. We'll work it out next week at some point, but very good. I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much, Tony. James, You're not doing anything bad per se right now, but it's getting close. Back off a little bit. Don't antagonize the Knicks fan room because they're going to go against you. If they go against you, I'm going to have to mute you. You've been keeping it basketball, so I'll keep it fair for now. But that's just for now. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jose. All the guys in the chat, really appreciate all your comments. And even if I don't agree with all of you guys or you don't agree with me, please feel free to leave your comments. That's the point of this basketball discussion. People think that I highlight comments or delete comments. All the comments are on moderation filter. If they're not about basketball or they're a lot of curse words or they're antagonistic, they're likely not going to show. That's not me controlling it. That's just YouTube's filtration. But if you want to talk about any comment with me, we have the live chat available right now. So if you don't agree with me with anything that I have to say about any player that I talk about, this is the chance to talk about it. I want to talk to you about those guys. I want to talk about takes that you don't agree with me with. That expands everybody's basketball knowledge. So I don't run away from those conversations. Please, if you want to talk about it, make sure we do. One more comment, and then we are going to the rest of the show here. Let's see. Jonathan says, so how come you're here, James, if you don't like us? All right, a lot of James hate right now. James mad and there's no net channel he can join. That's what David says. Jose says, let's go Knicks. Tony says, I'm trying to send it, but you have to follow for the direct messages. Don't worry. Just at me, Tony. Just send me, just do a post and at me, and I'll get back to you. But I want to continue the show here. Let's see. Perk says, Gabrielle, who do you want the Knicks to pursue? You asking me directly? If you're talking about centers and at the trade market, I want the Knicks to go after Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler is the number one player I want the Knicks to go after. Young, the Knicks should be able to afford him because his contract's not that heavy. He doesn't make a lot. And Danny Ainge is the only obstacle here. Danny Ainge is increasing this kid's value to a level that he shouldn't be at. He doesn't play enough, and his game is not good enough to be at that level. But if he came to the Knicks, he would be a great fit. Tom Thibodeau would get him right. Give him a year or two under Thibs, he would be a monster. I absolutely believe that. That's one of the guys. The other guy is Jalen Duran because, again, for the same reason, he's young. He could show off in terms of what he could do for Tom Thibodeau. And he has an offensive game inside the paint that you can't really teach right now. And if you have that coming into the game, coming into the league, he's already good with rebounds. He's already good on defense, even though he could get a little bit better. Arguably, he could still get just a tad bit better on defense. He's not the best yet, but he's young. There's levels to this. Tom Thibodeau can get him right in all of those aspects. And since he has an offensive game to his level already and to his game already, Tom Thibodeau will make sure he increases that. So will the coaching staff. I think we forget, haven't the Knicks added another great big man to their coaching staff to help develop these guys? So now we have two big men head coach on that Knicks roster, on that Knicks bench, part of the coaching staff who can help all our big men. That's what the Knicks have prioritized this season. Big men developing them and utilizing them to their fullest abilities. And the only way you can do that is to make sure you bring in guys that can work on the base level with them, get them understood on that level. Because when you learn the basics and you get good at them, you master them even, your game takes another level. It goes another level up because that's what happens when you practice and get better. This is what the Knicks are prioritizing, but those are the players I want the Knicks to go after. It's Walker Kessler, it's Jalen Duran, and it's nobody else. And those are the players I would trade Deuce for. I don't want to trade Deuce, but if I'm going after any of those players, Deuce has to be a player that's actively available in those trade talks because you're not going to be able to get any of those players if Deuce is not included in there. I'm not saying that Utah would even want to use Deuce. They have no use for Deuce. The reason they would want him included is because they likely would want to flip him to another team for more assets. We have to think about that. But very good question. Thank you so much, guys, for the chat questions today. I really appreciate that. Let's move on with the show. But don't worry, I'm going to come back. I'm going to answer all of your questions and more when we go back to the chat a little bit later. I promise you. But moving forward here, we want to go to another topic here today. And the next topic has to be Tom Thibodeau. With Tom Thibodeau, you guys recently saw with Steve Ashburn from NBA.com. He sat down and did a Q&A with head coach of the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau. Thibs answered a number of questions. In that interview, he revealed that Julius Randle will be playing center for the Knicks. The Knicks will be going small. It was music to my ears. I could not believe it. But in that interview as well, he also spoke about his new best defensive wing duo nearly in the league in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. And when he was speaking about them, he was speaking about how he was going to utilize the two and potentially a new defensive scheme. And that's something to consider here. Tom Thibodeau was explaining the Knicks' new defensive scheme with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges in mind. He was answering a question from NBA.com, and he said the following. Let's break that down for you guys. The question was, how intrigued are you to build a defense around a pair of wings like Anunoby and Bridges? Here was Tom Thibodeau's answer. What it adds to us is versatility of both. Let's do that again. What it adds to us is the versatility of both allows us to give different looks to primary ball defenders and primary ball handlers. We've been playing Donte DiVincenzo on those guys to start. Now we can come after that with Bridges, then OG, then Hart. We can constantly change up our look for who's guarding that ball handler. Also, OG and Hart are very disruptive off the ball. So I like to use them that way. The versatility of the defense will be a big thing for us. He also states, I think the league overall has shifted. Your 2s, 3s, and 4s are more wing-oriented now. Guys who can guard 4 positions. Or in some cases, we've got guys who can guard all 5. Allow you to do a lot more switching. And if there's a rebounding component to that, and you're not sacrificing your defense, you are turning your opponent into more of an isolation type of team where they're working against the clock and they're settling. They are settling and hopefully getting those long-range, mid-range shots. But that's what Tom Thibodeau wants. Thibodeau wants the opposing team to settle for long, mid-range shots. And those shots, if they're well defended, they're not going in. The opposing team is going to miss them. And the Knicks are going to rebound that ball. They're going to push it up court like they normally do, especially if Josh Hart's on the floor, and they're going to make it an easy basket. But did you hear Tom Thibodeau and that new defensive scheme that he's going to do in terms of how he's going to attack ball handlers? He just said it. The only player he really had to attack ball handlers with was really OG Anunoby, Hart, and Donte DiVincenzo. But he couldn't utilize all of those guys at the same time because if they did that, they wouldn't have enough depth at that position to play other players to do exactly what they needed to do, to play their role. Now, with the roster that we have in place, Tom Thibodeau just told you, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, all of those guys are going to be thrown at the ball handler at different points of the game. You know what that does? That means the ball handler has to keep guessing. The ball handler doesn't know what defender's going to come next. Is it going to be OG? Is it going to be Hart? Is it going to be Mikal? Because they don't know, it becomes disruptive. And because it becomes disruptive, it throws them off their game. They don't know what they need to do. They're passing out of bounds. They're passing to Knicks players. They're making quick decisions. Quicker decisions than they shouldn't make. They're not slowing down the game. If anything, what are the Knicks doing? They're putting pressure on the ball handler to make him increase his pace, increase his time. When you do that as a point guard or a player with the ball in your hands, and we take away your timing, you're messing up everything. And when you mess up your timing, the Knicks are taking advantage of that. Tom Thibodeau and this new defensive scheme with Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and to an extent, Josh Hart, trapping and sometimes suffocating the ball handler, the season cannot start soon enough, guys. I want to see it. I want to see us trap these guys where they can't play, where they're passing out, and they have to keep passing around the perimeter, going back to the point guard and doing it all over again, like a circle, trapped, because there's no escape. What are you going to do? We have penetration defense that you cannot, I'm so hyped I can't even talk, that you cannot get through. The penetration defense that we have in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. You can't get through that. So we have that. And if you're able to meet us at the rim, good luck to you. Bravo, because you're about to see Mitchell Robinson. When healthy, monster, beast. Talk about a big man that makes you alter your shot. You see Mitchell Robinson in there after you just got past Mikal and OG. You might cry. You might break down and cry on the court because now you have to deal with him. You have to deal with 7-foot-tall Mitchell Robinson. What are you going to do against that? You can't shoot. You can't fake. You can't do anything. And if Robinson isn't there and you have Julius Randle playing center, he's still a big body that you have to throw somebody at. And guess what? Somebody else you have to get past. And Randle is probably, if he played center for a full season and he was considered a center, he'd probably be considered the strongest center in the entire NBA, or at least up there with one of them. That's how strong he is. He's already up there with power forwards. We're talking about power forwards, including Giannis. And Randle has the strength level to potentially stay in front of him. Not for long, because it's Giannis. Giannis is going to back down anybody. He's going to push down anybody. But Julius Randle is one of the few big men in the league that can at least stay in front of him for at least 5 to 7 seconds. That's more than anybody else can say. And that's why you have to give credit to Randle here. But again, that trap that Tom Thibodeau is going to be able to utilize, you know what that's going to cause? A number of turnovers. We're going to be forcing turnovers like nobody's business and then running up the court and taking advantage of that. How? 3-point shot. What else? Inside the paint. What else? Penetration and creation. And we have the players to do that. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Mikal Bridges even does that. Josh Hart does that. Deuce McBride does that. Dante DiVincenzo does that. Our whole key squad does that. They understand their role. They understand what they need to do. Tom Thibodeau has clarified this is how he's going to attack ball handlers. You know why Tom Thibodeau has nothing to hide? Because what are you going to do against it? Go ahead. I'm telling you, before the season starts, talk about a boss move. You haven't seen my squad yet. You haven't seen anything I can do. But I'm telling you, when we see you, I'm throwing Mikal, OG, and Josh Hart, and maybe even a combination of Dante DiVincenzo at your ball handler. What are you going to do? Do something about it. Do anything about it. What are you doing? We're trapping you. What are you doing? You can't do anything. Pass all around the perimeter, get the ball back, and do what? Trapped. That's what you're going to do. That's why Tom Thibodeau had no problem saying any of this. I wouldn't have a problem either. Why would I? If my team was stacked like this, if I'm running things like this, if I know and I ran it in my head 1,000 times and I know what I'm going to see when it's out there, I don't mind telling you what it is because you can't stop it. Who's stopping that? Who's stopping it? What point guard is good enough to stop that? There's maybe three in the league that might be good enough to stop it. Might. Luka, SGA, flip a coin if you want to say Ja, maybe somebody else. Name the other player. Sure. Kyrie, whoever. Name other players. Sure. I'm trying to say, though, the list, it's not long. It's not long. And once you get trapped and you feel that possession after possession after possession after possession, you're going to give up. What will do you have? There's no will. And that's what the Knicks are built to do next season. Not trap you. Not destroy you. Take away your willpower. Take away your will from wanting to even play the game. That's what we're going to do. That's the roster we have. You want to talk about people and players and teams that are contending. You better start, if you haven't already, counting down the games before you see the Knicks. Because that game is going to be a nightmare. Tom Thibodeau is going to defend you. like it's game 7 of the NBA Finals. Good luck. Good luck. And may the odds be forever in your favor. They're not going to be. We're going to destroy you. Destroy you. This Knicks team destroying you. Everything that we've built up, everything that we built up to this time was for this moment, this exact moment, to go into the season with a game plan. We lost iHeart. We lost a significant part of our defense. But now we've gained a defensive scheme that I don't know how many people or players or teams are going to be able to work their way out of. But good luck to them. I can't wait to see it. The season cannot start soon enough. We are only a few weeks away from preseason. We're talking about the Hornets. We're talking about the Knicks. I believe that game is on October 6th. That game is going to be one of many where we're all just in admiration, maybe a little bit in shock, and definitely happy that we're finally witnessing a Knicks team headed into this season that not only has championship aspirations, but has aspirations to potentially be the best team in the East when the defending champions are in the East. Talk about a statement. That right there, statement. Love it. Before we go to the chat, I want to talk about our last topic today. Yeah, I know what you guys are saying. Maybe it might be a little bit of a short show, but we really don't have that many topics to talk about. And I don't want to force the issue with you guys, especially if you have more topics that you want to talk about with me or you have questions with me. So I'd rather go to that chat, talk to you guys maybe for about 20 to 25 minutes before we go to this next topic here. But we're going to get there in a second. I want to talk about our point guard, Captain Jalen Brunson. Now, we talked about Jalen a lot this offseason. We talked about his hand injury. We talked about him recovering from his hand injury. We talked about him becoming captain. We talked about him signing that huge discounted deal with the Knicks, even though he signed for as much money as he possibly could have signed for this offseason. If he waited and had a sensational year, which he absolutely could have done, he would have been able to sign for at least $113 million more. He didn't do that. He gave the Knicks a break. We can never thank him enough for that. I don't think anywhere in New York will ever charge him for anything at all, once he goes into their establishment because of what he's done for this city. But something else that doesn't get enough highlights, doesn't get spoken about enough, is the magic, or as Brunson puts it, as Tom Thibodeau puts it, the work. The work that he does. We all want to know, how's the hand look? Is the hand okay? Is it recovering okay? Is he going to be ready for camp? Is he going to be ready for the start of the season? And even if he is he going to have problems to start the season? Is that hand not going to look ready? Before we take a look just at how good and amazing that hand looks and how good his game looks, and in my opinion, the fact that he's elevated his game yet again, I want to show you guys something that Jalen Brunson recorded and posted recently, talking about his game and that quote-unquote magic. Let's roll that clip really quickly. Shout out to everybody as well, too, who's part of the chat right now. Really appreciate you guys joining up. Play it real quick. Okay, while that loads. Should be. Give me a second. There we go. Sorry about that. Always technical difficulties that time. That's how it goes when you're live. There we go.
Said for a long time.
Let me play that again with the audio, because audio is probably better.
This is like my sanctuary, so all emotions get let out here. Just imagining things, and the magic's in the word.
I'm just saying.
This is like my sanctuary.
Jalen Brunson,
all emotions get let out
right now, showing you that, giving you that level of commitment. it's the offseason right now, and he's doing all of this, working on his game like that, the wrist doesn't look like it's a problem, does it? Look at the pull-up. Slow motion for you. Does it look like it's a problem? My man just hit that like it was nothing. Lean into the side because he can. Jalen Brunson's an animal. He's a monster. The hand is fine. You don't believe me? Let's watch his pro run with, what's his name? That point guard. What do you call him? Oh, yeah, Kyrie Irving. That guy who was balling out for the Dallas Mavericks, who has been considered one of the best point guards in the entire NBA today. He was doing a pro run with Jalen Brunson, and if you thought Jalen wasn't back, I'm going to burst that bubble here and tell you, not only is he back, but he's ready to prove everybody wrong if you thought that his wrist was going to be a problem. Let's take a look at that real quick. Make sure there you go. Okay. Whenever you're ready. All right. Let's try that again. 1 second, guys. Appreciate you. There we go. What a pass. Oh, my goodness. Pull up. Cash, man. That's a monster for you right there. That's a legit monster. Jalen Brunson, for whatever you want to say about him, man. His pro run with Kyrie Irving showed you everything you need. Look at the pass right there. He doubled through it and then passed it all around to get another open shot. I guarantee the Knicks are going to run that. Guarantee. Talk about penetration and creation. That's exactly what he just did. Penetrated, took the defender with him, drug him along, passed it, and was able to get his teammate an open shot after they rang it all around. That's exactly what you're going to see from this Knicks team. Jalen Brunson is phenomenal. Wrist, no problem. Three, no problem. Pass, no problem. Playmaking, no problem. You were worried about Brunson? No problem. There's no reason to worry about Brunson. Brunson is fine. Brunson is absolutely fine. And that's the best part of things. Jalen Brunson doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. But there's a reason and a mindset to why these things were released. The magic is not because he's Jalen Brunson. The magic is because when the cameras are off, for the 1 hour and 55 minutes that we didn't see, and for the 5 minutes in a black and white video that we did see, the magic is in the work. Tom Thibodeau always says it because Brunson knows it's true. But then you want to see that hand. You want to see how it looks in action. I don't know about you guys, but Jalen Brunson looks like he's going to have another monster year, right alongside our other all-star, Julius Randle, who's going to also have a monster year. Jalen looking like that with that pass, that creativity, pulling up like that, no hesitation. I know that's always Jalen, but he's coming off of an injury, right? Doesn't matter. Jalen's always going to be Jalen, isn't he? And that's why you get him looking like that. Man, oh man. Can the season start? Can we just get a preseason game? I need to see it. I need to see Jalen Brunson go off. I need to see him dance. I need to see him cook. I need to see him shoot it over everybody. I need to see the captain go off. We're close, guys. Few weeks away. Preseason basketball is almost here. We're going to see this Knicks squad, and we're going to see a little bit, a tiny glimpse of what we can do, what they can do. But seeing this from Brunson, I mean, I don't know. If you're not hype, I don't know what else can get you hype. Seeing your point guard who was injured go off like that has to make you happy. because I don't even know how to act right now. And that is going to do it for this part of the show and really for this episode of the show. But don't you worry, even though we're ending just a little bit early, I'm still going to go to the chat. I'm still going to go to you guys, see what you guys have to say, talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Questions, concerns, shows, live streams, anything like that. We'll have that conversation for, 20, 25 minutes before the end of the show here today. But I appreciate each and everybody in the live stream, all the viewers, everybody in the chat, every single one of you that showed up, that always show out when I do these live streams and always show that love. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the channel as a member. Remember, if you want to join as a member, you can do it now on any level. And if you do that, you will be locked in for a giveaway. Giveaways are done each and every month. Different prizes, as we heard today, our great member in Tony. He's going to be working with me to give away a Knicks jacket. Can't wait to see what that looks like. We're going to be giving that away to you guys. So that looks like it's going to be fun. So definitely tune in for that. And everybody's been asking me, Troy, where are you going to be during the season? Please tell me you're doing watch-alongs this year, right? You didn't do it last year. Well, thankfully, I am partnering with the Playback.tv, and we are doing watch-alongs together. So if you want to see me, you want to catch me during watch-alongs, you have to go to the Knicks Recap Playback.tv room. Easiest way to do that, go to the description of this stream and click the playback link in that description. You'll be able to go directly to my channel, subscribe, be a member. It is free, by the way. And then whenever I do my live streams, you'll be able to go there and join me for watch-alongs. We're only going to do watch-alongs there, though. Not really any other content. But whenever I do watch-alongs, you'll be able to join me there, watch the game with me. You'll be able to come up as moderators with me, especially if you're members of the channel already. I'll give you that, too. And even better than that, you'll be able to talk about the game live with me. And that entire cast, not the game, but our conversations and our reactions to it is going to be streamed on all of the other platforms. So it's a great way to know me, know how I am during games, watch the game live with me, have another experience that you may not have otherwise had without this being available. So it is really good. I know it kind of takes you off the platform just a little bit, so I understand people's hesitation, but I promise you, I never am a part of anything that doesn't give back or isn't useful to the community in some way. And I really do feel for a lot of you guys, it's going to be useful. There's also some other things that I'm going to be able to give a lot of the people who joined that room. But unfortunately, due to restrictions, I can't say what that is. But if you join the playback room and you're with me during the regular season, you are definitely going to see that. So shout out to you guys, and I really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go directly to the chat gang. And we have a super chat already. Shout out to Buzzer Beater for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate that. Every donation does help the show. Buzzer Beater says, how many games will we win? How far will we go? In my opinion, the Knicks will win 62 games this year. We are going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't want to put a pin in terms of how far we get. Obviously, the goal is to get to the NBA Finals. That's where I want them to go. But if they can't get there and they get to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics, that's really the next level. It's eluded us for the last 2 years. We need to be able to break that curse and get there. But definitely, I absolutely want the Knicks to go all the way to the NBA Finals, winning the chip. But I'm not going to be disappointed if they don't do it in year one, because I've seen a lot of great teams fail and not be able to do it in year one. So I can't expect the Knicks to be able to do that, but I expect them to be competitive each and every game. I expect them to be good each and every game, and I think that's possible. Let's keep it going here, though. Jex, I think I'll say that right. Jex4212 says 65 games minimum. Flacco says 62 games is crazy. I know it's crazy, and I know people are going to say I'm crazy, but 62 games, after you add Mikal Bridges, you start the year with OG Anunoby. Those are like two different additions to this team. Not only that, but the guy you get back in Julius Randle is coming back fully healthy. And when we were on our run winning all those games, wasn't even part of our team during that time. Not after January. So really, 62 games, I'm kind of being really, really fair there, in my opinion, because with all the talent we're getting back, we should be able to dominate teams. I think a lot of people forget how good we are. We're good. We're very good. There's a reason why there's so many reports out there stating, well, if it's Boston, the only real threat to Boston is the Knicks. Why? Because of our roster. Our roster is crazy good. And Boston won how many games last year? You're telling me the Knicks can't do that? The Knicks can't have a Boston year? We're more motivated this year to do that. We're more motivated this year to destroy teams. We're more motivated this year to go to the playoffs and go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals and beyond. That motivation is going to play a very key part. I'm telling you guys, never underestimate what a team that was this close to the Eastern Conference Finals and losing it means. You start getting hungry. You start getting a fire lit underneath you. And when you know your roster is better, that's all you need sometimes. Watch what happens. 62, I stand on 62 games for this Knicks organization. But thank you for your comment. Let's go to the members of the channel. D-Block, what's going on, man? He says, we're going to do something special this year. This is the best team we ever had, and these players are motivated. You see, the members know. D-Block, my guy, he knows. Special. We're special this year, guys. So special. So good. We are going to be amazing. Again, Jalen, Mikal, OG, Julius, and Mitchell Robinson. I'm sorry. That's monstrous. That's deadly. I don't want to go up against that team. How about that? I can't get into the paint. If I'm in the paint, I can't do anything in the paint. I can't even make a shot. At half court, I'm probably going to be guarded at that point. I'm probably going to see a different coverage nearly every possession. Every possession, these guards, these ball-handling guards are going to see a different defender. Sometimes it's Dante. Sometimes it's Mikal. Sometimes it's OG. Are you kidding me? What are you going to do against that? You're trapped. And I'm sorry. Well, actually, I'm not sorry. I'm happy. That's what the Knicks are going to be able to give us, man. Special times coming. Can't wait. Tony says, I say that because we have an adjustment period and the lack of a center. Tony says we will win 55 to 59 games. Honestly, Tony, even if you're at 59, you're about 3 games behind me. You're close. It's not like you're that far away. In the law of averages, I guess you're a little bit farther away. But if you're just thinking about it just in terms of games, I'm pretty much, you would agree with me that if you're agreeing 59 games is possible, then you'd probably also agree that out of the 3 games that you think they could lose, potentially it could swing in their favor and they could win it. If you agree with that, then 62 is not far off. And I think that means it's close. That's what I mean by the prediction is kind of close there. But shout out to the subscribers here. Let's keep it going. Dustin Roberts says, don't sleep on the fact that these Nova boys won a championship in college. Definitely don't sleep on that fact. The fact that they have that chemistry going all the way back to Nova means a lot. Even Tom Thibodeau, I believe, addressed it during that interview he did with NBA.com. He spoke about it. He says it helps them during practice. It makes them more familiar with each other. And that, paired with the fact that they understand exactly what they want to do when they're on the court, because basketball-wise, your game grows, but the things you like to do out there don't really change as much. And even Mikal Bridges, he said it during the live show for the roommate show when he was a guest with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. He said with these guys, Jalen Brunson has been the one to elevate his game the most, but it's really not that different from what he was doing in college. It's just on a different stage, highlighted in a different way, and he's more put on in terms of being that guy. It wasn't asked of him the same way in Nova, but I think if it was, he probably could have done it. He might have been able to do it. So it's always been in Jalen to do these things. And that's what Mikal has always said. The practice making perfect is going to be key here. The way you practice, I'm going to sound like Tom Thibodeau. The way you practice is the way you're going to look when you're out there on the court, because practice is going to be perfect for these guys. And the chemistry that they've built is going to be a factor out there, especially during key moments. Key moments you can't plan for. You have to play the game together and be part of it together. And once you gain those experiences, they don't go away. They get locked away in a little corner of your brain. And you don't really access it or think about it at all. And then, out of nowhere, you see it. It comes out because something triggers it. The Knicks are going to have a lot of those moments because we have guys that have played together for years to be able to have those moments together. Can't wait to see it. Very good question. Appreciate you, my guy. Let's keep it going. Let's see. 62 is definitely possible, says Tony. I agree. It is. I think that 62, again, it's a fair assessment given where we were last year. We got to remember, we're 50-plus wins last year. You're telling me we can't do better because of the trade we just made? We just made a massive trade for Mikal Bridges. We have to be able to do a little bit better than that, especially in an Eastern Conference, which in my opinion didn't really get that much better. Even if you want to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers and all the craziest that they did. They just signed Joel Embiid to another contract. I think he's the highest paid player in the NBA right now. I don't know the exact deal, but to give that much money to Paul George and to Joel Embiid, two of the most injury-prone players in the league, I'm not scared of the Sixers. If anything, I am scared for the Sixers because when the inevitable happens and something goes wrong, they're locked in and ain't no one touching those contracts. The East may be good, but I think the Knicks have gotten a lot better. We were doing things last year that nobody thought we could do. Why not be able to do it this year? But that's why I say that's something that the Knicks likely are going to get into. Appreciate you and appreciate your comment. Mary says, agreed. If they played just as they played in the past, best D NBA has seen in a bit. I'm telling you, Mary, it's going to be sensational. And it's not going to be the same defense either. Tom Thibodeau said we're going to see an upgrade, but the upgrade is crazy. He wants to throw Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, and to an extent, Josh Hart at the primary ball handler each and every game. Switching it up on each and every one of these players every single time they have the ball in their hands. If you do that, you're going to cause chaos for the other team. That's what Tom Thibodeau wants to do. That defense, we've never seen it before. We never had a roster to see it before. Now we do. I can't wait to see what it looks like because that sounds like a trap. And it sounds like an inescapable trap because what do? Pass around the perimeter, get back to the ball handler. Nothing has changed. The Knicks can be able to go man on man and still be able to double team when necessary without leaving their man too much because our players are capable of keeping another defender in front of him. The only people in mind that might not be able to do that is Jalen Brunson. But even though Brunson's not the greatest defender, he's one of the best in the league in drawing charges. And I don't care what anybody says. When you're drawing a charge and you're playing defense, that's a defensive play. So he may not play defense in the way you want him to play defense. He may not be that level of a defender, but he plays defense in his own way. And I can tell you from experience of watching him doing it each and every game, those cause turnovers. When he puts his body on the line and takes those charges, it causes turnovers. We get the ball back, and we're able to utilize that to make another bucket and go ahead in the game. So it's defense. That's what Jalen Brunson plays for us. It's his level of defense, and I appreciate it. Not going to knock him for that. He's small in that way, but he does a lot of things that you can't knock or criticize him on. Some things that just make you look at him and say, he's how tall? And he's doing what? Yeah, that's our point guard. That's Jalen Brunson. Shout out to the king. Shout out to the captain, Jalen Brunson. Appreciate your comment. Let's keep it going here. 718 says, will Jacob Toppin make the roster? He actually is on the Knicks on a two-way deal, so technically he is on the roster. If you're talking about will he get a standard NBA contract in terms of making that final roster spot, anything could happen. I think the Knicks are going to be utilizing training camp to see who gets that final roster spot, but I really hope it's not Jacob Toppin. They need to sign a center to the team or at least somebody that has size that we can put at the center position in case we need to. Now, obviously, the big men in this league are very, there's not really that many left right now, I should say. Free agents, not that many left. The Knicks are going to have to be very creative. I don't know who else they're going to be able to sign to an Exhibit 10 deal or Exhibit 9 deal. They need more bodies in training camp with size. Mitchell Robinson, not going to be there. So that means Jericho Sims has his moment now. That means Jericho Sims and Precious Achiuwa is going to be there. You're going to have Marcus Morris probably play center, even though it's not his natural position. If we don't have anybody else, we're going to need to do that, right? So it's something to think about. I think that the Knicks are going to make a move, but not now. There's no person to make a move for now, because if they wanted to get a move for any of these players, all the players that we talked about, they probably could have done so already. That's why I think training camp is really where they're going to prioritize looking at who's going to get that final roster spot. But if Jacob Toppin gets that spot, I would be highly shocked. I don't think it's possible at this point, given the Knicks and their roster needs. A very good question. I appreciate that. Let's see. About 20 minutes, I think. We'll keep it going here. Let's see. Miami says, I can always count on new information and new content from you, Troy. Thanks. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I'm always trying to give content, always trying to give some information that people find relevant. You know how I do it. I read all the reports. I'm not ever claiming that I have sources. I do claim, though, that I have a lot of reading that I do on a day-to-day basis, and I read everybody. I read every single report, every single insider, and I know who to prioritize in terms of people and their journalism. And obviously, I do interview different insiders from time to time, so they give me information, but I report that information directly to you. So I'm glad you guys appreciate it. You guys think it's fresh, and you guys keep coming back for that information and news. It really does mean a lot to me. And if I don't say it enough, even if I don't say it enough in the comments, I still try to. I really do appreciate the support. The Knicks recap doesn't exist without you guys, without the members, without the fans, subscribers, the support, all of that. We don't exist. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You won't know how much it means to me. Thank you. Let's keep it going here. Let's see. Want to get to some new people here. Sharon says, is it legal for Jaylen to jump up on Mikal's shoulders and play center? No. I don't think that it's legal to do that. I don't think even Jaylen would attempt to do that unless they're doing something like he's doing like a practice lane dunk, like before the game starts. I can see that happening, but I don't think that Mikal would hold Jaylen on his shoulders and play center. Although that's a creative idea. To give you credit, I haven't heard anybody at all ever mention that as a potential option. So credit to you. That was a good one, Sharon. Good laugh for today. Let's keep it going here. 718 says, do you think Mikal is capable of being an all-NBA player or becoming an NBA superstar with the Knicks? Wow. Great question, 718. Really appreciate that. Let's break that first part off. Do you think Mikal is capable of being an all-NBA player? I do. He was all-NBA defense when he was with the Suns. So if he was able to do it with the Suns and his role wasn't that prominent with them, and I think his role would be, if not the same, maybe just a little bit elevated with the Knicks, I think he can definitely make an all-NBA team. Maybe more an all-NBA defensive team than a just overall all-NBA team. But I do think it's possible, given his play and the way the Knicks are going to utilize him. That second part, though, is do you think that Mikal Bridges can be an NBA superstar with the Knicks? That's a tough one. I mean, he has the opportunity, definitely has the skill set. He can do it. I don't know if he'll be considered a superstar. He'll be considered an all-star. He might get all-star. He might be considered a star. I don't know about superstar because the opportunities, I feel like, will always go to really who our superstars on this team are. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. It's not to say he won't have superstar-like play. He could some nights go off like a superstar. Definitely that's possible. That's why you would call him a star. But overall, in general, I don't know if anybody would ever consider him a superstar. But does he have the ability to reach it? Absolutely. He absolutely does. We saw it when he first joined Brooklyn. He has the capability of being a lead scorer, a lead passer, somebody you can count on defense, somebody who can lead the offense in case somebody's out. I mean, the Knicks are going to get a lot from Mikal, more than people are giving him credit for. So something really to think about there. Thank you so much for the comment, though, 718. Appreciate that. Let's keep it going. Parrish, funny how you underestimate how much guys like Toppin are top priority for the future. Parrish, my guy, love your comments because they're always against mine. Your comments always go against what I say. And that's not to say you're trying to do it to be a troll or anything. You feel this way. And I like that. I appreciate that. And you communicate it in a basketball way. So I thank you for that. But in my basketball way, let me respond here. You say that we're underestimating Toppin. I think you're severely overestimating him. He's on a two-way contract. Let's take away the Knicks aspect from it and just talk about NBA. When's the last time a two-way player on any team in the league ever had a prominent role for a team during that season? Any team. Go through history. Sometimes they would sign players from the G League, call them up, and sometimes they potentially would have a better type of play than some of these other type of players that they signed. Rookies that they've signed. Two-way guys that they have. They've done that in the past. I can't remember the last time that a two-way player was coming to a team and had an impact worth talking about, worth mentioning. So all due respect to you and your take, but Jacob Toppin will not see any significant minutes or time on this team. If Toppin is seeing time on this team, something severely wrong has happened for the Knicks. We should be scared if Toppin is playing a lot of minutes. That's my point and my opinion, but I appreciate your comment even if we don't agree, because that right there is what increases basketball knowledge for anybody who's watching. So I appreciate you. Let's keep it going here. People we haven't seen yet. Tony says, Bridges will be an all-star this season with Brunson and Randall. Oh, Tony, that's a hard task. Think about all the teams in the NBA who's ever had 3 all-stars make the team. I think it was only Golden State, right? Might have been another team too. Miami? I don't know if Miami did. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of teams, but it doesn't happen often is what I'm trying to say. With New York, it definitely doesn't happen often. I was shocked that New York even got Jalen and Julius, both of them as all-stars during the same year. Very shocked by that. For them to up it to 3, Mikal would have to do something phenomenal, something I'm not even thinking of. I guess it's possible. Anything is possible, but Mikal doing that? I don't see it, guys. I think he's going to be a great player, significantly good, very good. Making all-star this year, first year with the Knicks, very, very tough. He'll give you all-star level play, though. Definitely will give you all-star level play. I don't think he'll get enough votes to become all-star, and I don't think he'll be given the coach's bypass to be added to a team. And if it's anybody else in the league basically creating the roster, depending on how much of that creation is based off of players that they choose from the league, maybe. It's a possibility, but I don't think it's a high possibility. But shout out to Tony. I appreciate you. Boston last season. That's right. Yeah, Boston did it. That's right. Did they have 3? Yeah, they did have 3. But I think that was due to injury, right? Somebody was injured, and then they added somebody, and that's the reason why. I think it was Jaylen Brown or somebody like that. I forget exactly who it was. But I do remember them having 3. But I'm talking about, like, actively adding 3, not because of this. You get what I mean? I don't want to have a qualifier in front of it. Oh, you're an all-star. Only because this person was injured. I never want to have that. I want to be all-star and earn it because I earned it. Not because somebody was injured and now I have to take their place. I don't know about you guys. It just doesn't feel right, you know? All right, let's see here. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm just looking for some new comments. Let's see. Miami has a question. Let's go to Miami real quick. I think we're going to go to Miami and then maybe Parrish, and that might be our last 2 comments for the day. Let's go. Miami says, most teams cannot sustain a full season at a high playing level. Would you prefer if the Knicks had a strong start or finish to the season? Definitely a strong start. We have momentum going into the season. I think we need to capitalize on it. I think moving throughout the season, we've shown everybody, even though it's very hard to finish the season, under head coach Tom Thibodeau, it's never a problem because we're going to finish out the season strong. We did it with a hobbled roster. We took the 2nd seed and we were missing maybe, 3 of our key players? So if we were able to do that, then absolutely I would prefer to start strong. Because if we start strong, I have faith in the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau to sustain it all throughout the season, because that's what we do. Next man up mentality is not just the thing. It's reality. We saw it happen in real time last year, and it worked. And because of that, it's going to work again. Hopefully, we don't have to utilize next man up mentality so much. I want to stay relatively healthy this year. Hopefully, that's the biggest thing that we see. But absolutely. When it comes to the Knicks and finishing the season, I think absolutely I would rather them have a stronger start. And then when they end the season, I already have faith that they're going to end strong. So I don't have to hope for it. I know that's going to happen. But strong starts oftentimes elude us because we're dealing with injuries from a number of players when we start. So, not the greatest thing in the world. Parrish, I think you might be the last one here. Let's see. All right, Parrish, you're the last one. Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Parrish, excuse me. I already went to one of your comments, and I see that Dustin, who I only went to once in this stream, I want to go to him again. I don't go to a lot of new people, so I want to be able to do that. So, Dustin, you're going to be able to close us out with the last question of today. And the last question is, does Tyler Kolek get minutes this year? I appreciate you, Dustin. Thank you so much for our final question of the day. It was really helpful, and I can't wait to answer it. So, Tyler Kolek, really simply, not going to get any at all minutes for the Knicks unless injury happens or it's garbage time. Before we get to that, though, I got to go to a super chat because that's how it works. If we're done with the show for the day, but you leave a super chat, I can't ignore you. I have to go to you and make sure I acknowledge you. Parrish just gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you, my brother. I really do appreciate you. And I just got to say, as mentioned, me and Parrish do not agree. We oftentimes disagree, but he supports the show, watches the videos, watches the streams, and leaves his comments, which, by the way, always get responded to because I like the basketball discussion. So I always appreciate that. And Dustin, thank you so much for being a member. You are now a member of the channel, joining Tony, joining D-Block, joining Apao Diaz, and some of our great other members as well, too. So shout out to you. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot. Growing the channel, making sure we get to that 20K subscribers and even more than that, and getting more members, that's where I want to be, because getting more members is going to allow us to do a lot more things and have even bigger giveaways. So I appreciate that. Paris, salute, and support. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Dustin, thank you so much, and welcome to the Knicks Recap memberships. Again, it's great to have you. And if anybody else wants to join, very simple. All you have to do is hit that join button you see on screen. You'll be able to join the channel as a member, and instantly you'll join and have access to all the giveaways that we're doing and everything like that. So again, a lot of appreciation. Thank you so much. Let's go to that final question that our new member, our new guy here, Dustin Roberts, had to say about his question here. So let's keep it going here. His question was, go back to it so I don't forget it. Dustin says, does Tyler Kolek get minutes this year? Shout out to you. He doesn't. He doesn't get minutes this year, not significant minutes or consistent minutes. Let me say that. Consistent minutes for Tom Thibodeau this year are going to go to 9 players. Now, is he going to expand to a 10-man rotation? I think he will, but I only think he does that depending on need, necessity, injury, things like that. If that is not there, I don't think he goes to another player. But Kolek might be the only player in my head I can think of that if he did expand to 10, he might be going to that potential player. because that makes sense, guys. If he goes there and he joins our team, or not even like that, not even joins our team, if he joins our roster as part of a regular, joining us when we're playing our games, that would be huge for the Knicks. Huge for that young man getting minutes for us. I don't think it's going to happen, though. And Dustin, here's the main reason why. Rookies under Tom Thibodeau, even though they'll play minutes, will they play significant minutes? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. You don't see it oftentimes. The only times you normally do see it is when we're dealing with injuries. It's possible. It's always possible. And he has the skill set because of his passing game to make it happen. But I don't see him being a consistent part in terms of this roster getting minutes. Maybe during garbage time, injury, some players out, things like that. Somebody goes down during the game, whatever the case may be. There's going to be circumstances where surely he's going to play, but I don't see it happening often. You might see him play a lot more time in the G League. His time, actually, perfect example, perfect way to put it to you. His time might be comparable to Miles McBride. Miles McBride, a lot of time in the G League, came to the Knicks, got his opportunity, and now look, a prominent piece for us off the bench. Kolek, I see him going in that exact same direction because of his skill set and what he's going to be capable of doing. He has to upgrade his defense. His defense is likely going to be the biggest reason why he doesn't see time for the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau is not going to play a rookie who has limited defense out there, no matter how good his passing game is, no matter how good he is on offense. There's going to take a little bit more. He's going to have to do a little bit more. He has what it takes. He's capable, but we're going to have to wait and see. We also have a new member. New member in the house, Sharon. What's going on, Sharon? Thank you so much for joining as a member, getting that Rising Star membership. Really do appreciate that. If you guys want to join Sharon as well, too, or you want to join Dustin, our two new members of the channel for today, all you have to do is hit that join button. You can join each and every single tier that we have, whichever tier you like. And as soon as you do that, you will be eligible for all of those giveaways that we have planned. Can't wait to share those details for you guys. But I think that's going to do it for today's episodes. The chat has been great. You guys have been live. The questions, probably some of the best questions that I've had from any of the chat members recently. So I really do like that. Please, guys, each and every time you come to these streams and you know at the end of the show, I'm going to have some questions that I ask you guys, or I at least want to know what you guys want to know about. Any questions you have or any comments you have, write down anything during the week or when you watch one of my videos or anything like that, that potentially you want me to talk about, you want me to address, because I would love to get to each and every single one of your questions like I was able to do today. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for the great show today. Remember, if you're not a member, you can join right now very easily by hitting that join button. And if you want to watch, live streams with me, all of the Knicks games with me, or at least most of them, not all of them, but most of the Knicks games with me next season during the regular season, you can do that by joining the Knicks Recap Playback.tv channel. The link for that is in the description of this stream. You just click the link, you join as a member, it's free, and then anytime we go live for the watch-alongs during the regular season, it will be on that platform. Don't worry, the reactions for me and any of my speakers that I have up there will be streamed on YouTube and all of these other platforms. But if you want to see the game with me and also actually see my reaction in real time, the playback.tv is going to be the blessed. It is going to be blessed if you go there, but it's also going to be the best place to find me if you want to watch those watch-alongs. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace. And thanks again to everybody who joined. I always appreciate you and always appreciate you giving me just a little bit of time out of your day to join me during this afternoon stream. Enjoy your weekends, enjoy the Knicks, and remember, we are only a few weeks away from Knicks basketball, and I can't wait to see what that looks like. Peace and love, guys. I'm out.